sometimes we smash that down, afraid that we don't know how to fix it. We think we need to do everything alone. Imagine that you're a beautiful castle. And in order to be a safe castle, you've built an incredible moat and wall around that castle. You didn't think when you built those walls that that would be destructive. But those walls are defense. That's defensive energy for you. Certainly, defensive energy is also when you come up against another and thou dost protest too much, right? We become defensive when we argue for our limitations and we argue against our limitations and we argue against other people's limitations. But for today, allow the awareness of your defensive energy to be the walls you made, because it is always about the walls you made, even when you're arguing in a simple argument as defensive. Own that you are your own liberator. Connected to source, you are your own liberator. So do you want to have those walls at this time? Some of you might say yes, but I know Shawn will say no. Mm-hmm. So my synergistic partner, we are going to lead Shawn through dissolving those walls so you can watch what it is like to be really open to letting go. So Shawn, can we take you through that process?
Absolutely.
It feels exciting, doesn't it?
It does. And I had this image of the moat being filled in with like love light elixir. It was a great analogy.
I want you to notice a moat is always outside the castle walls. Mm-hmm. So if it is full of all that juicy energy, it actually has been working against you.
Right.
Because it's coming up against those walls and not able to get in. So what a wonderful perspective. Because we want that love, light, blessing energy, that grace to be available on the inside of her castle, not the outside of her castle. So imagine if you have love, light, and blessings on the moat, people will see you as a graceful individual, right? Mm-hmm. The light she's shining is all that grace. But then you meet the wall.
So true.
like people are probably drawn to you like a moth to a flame, and then smack.
Yeah, absolutely.
They hit like, wait, pretty sure this is incongruent energy. Mm-hmm. And how many of us feel that way? How many of us see that in our spiritual teachers and our spiritual alliances, that maybe they have overserved and overgiven, and maybe they are all that grace, but their moat is beauty. And then the defensive energy is where they've have scar tissue of where they've overserved, or where they've had to build reinforcements, because sometimes that giving feels like it's going to annihilate, right?
Yeah.
So just imagine that your defensive energy isn't always something that you did wrong. And oftentimes it's something that you did with good intention, to be safe, to be secure. But what we are building as we build the new earth, the matrix of the dimension, is we build our lives without the wall.
Yes.
And we build our lives without the defense. And so tell me, Shawn, what do we need to do now that that wall seems silly? What do we need to do to dissolve it or melt it or eradicate it? Or maybe make it usable?
Well, underneath when I was looking at it, underneath the love light elixir is all these like old bones, and like in the moat, like it's the moat is full of, the moat has a good cover on it, but underneath the moat, it energetically looks pretty dense and yucky. So I
So
think
honest.
it's,
So so is it like a uh get closer to it because you're I'm breathing big energy. So you'll hear that, everyone. But I'm channeling something so massive for us all. So Shawn has these bones and this heavy density. Now tell us, is there a separation between the bones and the light?
yes.
Okay, that's going to be what's really easy to dissolve this. So I want you, as if you had a magic marker and you're observing a picture of your hologram.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to remember that you have full control of your hologram. So I want you to go in and I want you to, like you were an Adobe artist, I want you to blur the line between the carnage, the grays.
Carnage and the light, right? Yeah.
Mhm. And I want you also, as you swiftly lift that energy into new energy, and Shawn's doing it with her hands and her breath, you can allow that dense energy to become something new. So often I hear when healers are working with people to cut cords or to, as if energy is going to just disappear. Why would you want to get rid of usable energy, right? Allow energy to become useful. Because if you think you're snipping it away or just sending it somewhere else, this screen, the fourth dimension, which how about we make it the transformational screen of your hologram?
That would be amazing.
Because you're still moving, right, from one to another. And sometimes people just want to jump to from the third to the fifth, but the third is about separation and the fifth has no separation. How do we cross the bridge? Everything exists. Everything is on its way that you need. And the new earth must be willed into existence.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't will it into existence with fear. And we can't will it into existence with defensive energy. We have to, despite what the trickery is, that you're trapped in some ways in some planetary experiences that seem dark, you can very much have a different reality. And you don't have to agree to the plan that the darker, lower densities have tricked people into thinking we are held hostage in. But
Mm-hmm.
it's to train our mind. And we are here for you to keep training your mind to transmute what you have created for yourself. We can blame the outside, but in this plane, everything's coming through the filter of me. Everything is coming through the filter of me. So we're going to change our language
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to invite ourselves to create castles in this dimension that embody the frequency of the domain that is true for where you're moving to. And it all at first sounds very much a figment of our imagination. But I promise you, it already exists. We are not building a new earth. We are realizing the new earth that has always been there, already built for us.